Okay, guys, welcome back to Trade Scale Success Stories. We've got a special one today. We're welcoming on the show Dan Radu Montano, correct?
Yeah,
Also,
that's
also
correct.
known as SMC Dan in the trading world. So, guys, if you don't know Dan, he's got a large presence and he's a smart money concepts trader, correct?
Yeah. SMC, ICT,
Yeah. Okay.
a mix.
Okay, cool. Yeah, a bit of everything. Okay, I like that. So, again, we Dan's a professional trader. So, guys, if you want to get there or you're trying to get there, this is probably the one to watch. Brilliant to have you on the show, Dan, and welcome. How are you? How are you today?
First of all, thanks for having me. Was looking forward. This is actually my first ever interview. I had some options in the past, but I never decided to do
Okay.
one, mainly because I was a bit camera shy to do an interview.
Yeah. No. Yes.
But yeah, with time, this is same as trading. The muscle gets trained, and essentially you escape that shyness. How's it called?
I think so. Yeah. That's shyness.
Yeah,
I don't actually know the
yeah,
technical
that's
term for
shyness.
it.
I
Yeah.
think it's,
Yeah.
I think it's the right word. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I was happy about the whole experience with Trader Scale, from the challenge phase to then the funded accounts. Everything went pretty smooth, including the payouts.
Okay.
That was
Yeah, nice.
yeah,
We're glad.
that
Well, we're
was
glad you're having a good time with this, because like we don't really have many complaints. This is the thing. So, like sometimes like I have traders on you and they're like, oh well, maybe like this could be a little bit better, but it's nothing. So we're always trying to fiddle and make things better. But usually, generally, like it was perfect. My experience was perfect. So I'm like, great. That's great news for us. So glad you're having a good time with us. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, Dan, like a bit of background knowledge for the listeners and viewers. So, and again, for the people that don't know much about your presence in the trading game, where are you from?
I am from East Europe, from Romania. I live in
Okay.
the capital in Bucharest. Here,
Okay.
this is where I was born as well, and I've started trading 5 years ago,
Okay.
right after I finished high school. That's when
Okay.
I started trading.
Oh, really? So how old are you now?
I am 24 now.
I was gonna say, you do look quite young, to be fair. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, nice, nice. So how long did it take you to sort of crack it, do you think? And how much with Trader Scale have you been paid in total now?
So regarding how much it took me to become profitable, it was a pretty long while. It was 14 months, which for some people might not seem long, because we
Not
all
that
know
long.
that there's people that spend years to become profitable. But what you guys need to understand is that in those 14 months, I spent as much time in front of the charts as a normal person with responsibilities would spend probably in 5 or 6 years. Because right
Oh.
after high school, I had a lot of free time. I was
Hmm.
playing tennis professionally by then.
Oh, really?
And yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's
I was
interesting.
training for 3 to 4 hours a day. And then literally the rest of the day, I was fully focused on trading. I was living at my parents, didn't had expenses.
Yeah.
But it was a rough journey due to the fact that I had no guidance. I bought multiple courses.
Hmm.
I jumped on real accounts too soon, and fast forward in my first 3 months, I blew all of my savings, which were
Ah,
3,000 euros.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it is rough for some people. It's not
yeah,
plain sailing. Like everyone has been through that when they go. Through, I call it the gauntlet of fire. But instead of doing it at the end, you've got to do it at the beginning. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So how did you first get into trading? Because straight from high school is quite early. Usually people, well, just I don't want to stereotype or trend anything, but like basically 25 to 35 seems to be the kind of niche
Yeah, the
where
sweet
people start
spot.
looking at it. So why was it straight after high school?
It was based on luck, to be honest. In at For my 19th birthday, I think my aunt gifted me 100 euros.
Hmm.
And usually, whenever I was getting money for my birthday, I usually was spending it on sneakers and whatnot, or video games. But at that time, I legit didn't have anything to buy, or at least I didn't have an idea of what I should buy. And I was watching YouTube, not trading related, nothing. It was
Nothing.
vlogging and stuff. And I saw a ad that popped on YouTube with a investing platform. And that ad caught my attention. I downloaded the app, I invested in it. I think I bought Coca-Cola, Apple, Adidas, and Nike. I bought some shares,
Yeah.
in total 100 euros. But
Okay.
luckily, I bought literally on the COVID dip. I wasn't aware of it. I bought it
All
on the
right.
COVID dip. Yeah, and then couple months passed by. I was busy with the final exams in the high school. I totally forgot about the amounts. And after the exams, I remembered about the amount I invested. I logged into the account and I saw that from 100 euros, I was able to make 500.
Uh-huh.
And that was a huge light bulb moment for me,
Yeah.
that money can be made like this online without having to, let's say, physically work for it. And because of that, I decided to look more into stocks, but then I understood
Okay.
that I was lucky, that it was literally 100% luck that I bought during the COVID day. And
Yeah.
I understood that through stocks, I can make money if I already have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And watching stock videos, the suggested bar next to the video that you're watching, I saw a forex trading video with a person that claimed he flipped a $100 to a $3,000 account, and that's what caught my attention. And
It's
of course,
doable.
it wasn't a
Doable.
good thing,
Yeah.
because I tried to do the same, and
Yeah.
that's how I blew my savings.
Yeah.
But
You got to know what you're
essentially,
doing
that's
to do that.
exactly, yeah, exactly. And even if you know what you do, you'll still blow some accounts until you manage that
Yeah,
flip, right?
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You've got to catch
So
the right at the bottom of extremely bullish or bearish pit, like high.
exactly,
You got to catch like Nasdaq right on a spike like that, and then just like
yeah,
let it run for like a couple of weeks.
yeah,
One of my mates does that. She's really good at it. Like he just loves it. He loves flipping accounts. He just does it with goals, like
yeah.
gold longs. Yeah, but like I said, he will blow a couple of them, but then now and again he'll just flip like 100 into like 2-3 thousand, something like that. So yeah, it's
Yeah, but
quite, it's
he has
quite,
experience.
yeah,
He has
exactly,
experience.
exactly. If you haven't got
I had no
experience,
experience.
yeah, it could be a dangerous game. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's why you started with flipping, and then where did you go from there?
I mean, it was a mess. I'm not gonna lie. I started with multiple things. I started with trying to flip small accounts, buying random courses online. Then I discovered prop firms as well. I bought some prop firm accounts, and I had
Mhm.
this bad mentality where I tried to pass it in one day,
Yeah,
because
no,
all I was thinking about was the potential big payout I could get out of that, say 25K or 50K account. And fast forward 3 months later, that's how I blew all of my savings. And then I was forced to stick to a demo account because I didn't have any more money to spend on trading, you
got
know?
you. Oh, that's
And it
nice.
was a good thing.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
a
no,
good
I
thing,
think, I think, yeah, no, 100%. It trains you to kind of just like chill out a little bit, in the
Yeah.
nicest way possible. So, we've gone through like what you were doing before training. You were in high school, so there was no before. Like some people say, like, oh, I was working in a factory, I was working in construction, but you were just a kid. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I wasn't employed anywhere. I was just, besides tennis, I was
tennis.
also having some tennis lessons
Well, yeah, sounds like
uh,
you're at a good level there.
with amateur people. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was getting a passive income from there as well, so to say.
Okay. Oh, that's good. So, how much would you say you've accomplished in the last, sort of 2 years?
I mean, huge. The difference is huge because yes, after the first 14 months, I became profitable, but only I would say after the first 2 years of trading, that's when I started to seeing the
Yeah.
more abrupt
Yeah.
uptrend, so to
Mm.
say.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. So, what changed? Do you think?
Multiple things. I mean, it's not only the strategy, right? That I was constantly tweaking and trying to add new conferences or subtract old conferences to see if it works better. It's also the mindset, the discipline, the good habits, because the person that I am today is not at all the person I was 5 years ago. You
Right.
know,
Okay.
5 years ago, I had a complete random schedule every single day. I wasn't focusing on getting good sleep, on having good habits, good daily habits daily. I wasn't focused on what I eat, on eating less sugar. I was a complete different person. And I know that most people would say, but what does this have to do with trading? And trust me, it has everything to do with
Yeah.
trading, because trading is essentially a mirror of ourselves. If we have a super strict schedule, we know what we need to do in the day that's coming tomorrow, we
Hmm.
have a much better chance to also be disciplined with our trading plan,
Hmm.
and not FOMO into trades that
Yeah.
aren't there. And this is what I wanted to get to, compared to even last year. This year compared to last year, I'm a lot more selective to when it comes to the setups I'm taking, a
Right.
lot more selective. Like I did the series on my YouTube channel where I documented literally the whole process from getting the account, the 200K trader scale account, to the payout. And the people saw how many losing trades I was able to avoid by being super picky and super selective with my strategy.
Right. Okay, there you go. So that's the thing as well, guys. If you're listening in on this, like, sometimes less is more as well. Like, if you're trying to jump in stare at the screen all day, trying to jump in a trade every 5 minutes, it's probably not going to work unless you're like, Warren Buffett or something, But, this is great advice from Dan. That's what I'm trying to say to you guys. So let's talk about, have you tried other prop firms before? And where do you trade from? Based in Bucharest still? Are you?
In Bucharest.
And you trade from your computer or your phone? What do you do?
I usually do my analysis on the computer, always on TradingView. And I enter on my phone on MetaTrader.
Okay. So how did you find
that's what I do.
I know you've spoke quite highly about TraderScale already. You said like you had no problems with it, but like, what would you say is the best part about TraderScale, and what are the advantages of using TraderScale? What did you like about it, essentially?
I would say there's more than one thing, but the first one I can think of is the seamless process. When it comes to, let's say you purchase the account, you get the account straight away. You pass the account, you get the credentials of the second phase straight away. Then if you successfully pass the phase 2, the contract, the KYC, everything is very seamless and it doesn't take a lot of time. Whereas with other prop firms in the past, I had issues with the KYC, some basic things, that took time, and that's annoying, because all you want from a prop firm is a seamless process.
Okay.
And then also when getting the funded accounts, it was super fast receiving the funded credentials. What I also liked is that the trading conditions were very good on the funded account as well compared to the challenge account, where again on some props you have amazing conditions on the challenge, but then as soon as you get funded, it gets long. Slippage is insane. The spreads are way bigger. You get trades that you should be in and you aren't because of the slippage, and again that annoys you. And happily I had no issues with TraderScale with this. And then of course, lastly, and probably most important for most people, the payout process.
We're good. We know we're good on the payouts. We're very confident about that.
I love that. I love that. And also one thing that I love is that TraderScale offers also a bank option and not only crypto. Because nowadays, yes, there's a lot of people that prefer crypto, but there's also, I would say, old school people that prefer the good old bank transfer method, And this again gives me confidence to stay with TraderScale for a long period of time.
Sweet. Well, we love to hear that. I'm glad you're having a good time with that. So we like I said, the payout process for us is probably one of our strengths. We offer you can see the track payouts as well. So you can
that one as well.
So we love that. We're like that. I think we were the only one, if not one of the only, that do that. So it's nice.
Yeah, because that was actually, I forgot to mention it in the beginning when I picked TraderScale for the 200K challenge series. That was one of the main reasons I picked it. It was the good reviews. Then it was MetaTrader, that you guys have MetaTrader, which is a great thing. And also the Sunderland partnership. I found that really cool. Because it shows that there's big funds behind this firm. And then lastly, the payout tracker. I found that really cool and transparent.
I don't think anyone else is doing that. So I'm literally loving that. So what does the word consistency mean to you in trading?
Consistency. It's the ability to do what you backtested and what works day in and day out. Being consistent with it. Because there's so many people that, let's say, learn a profitable strategy, they backtest it, they see it's profitable, they demo test it, they see it's profitable, and then when the moment comes to perform, to take it on the live stage,
can't do it.
Everything, they start adding confluences, they start trading a different pair that they didn't backtest.
As well.
Psychology,
They're gonna let emotions take advantage of them. That's it. That's it. Like the thing is, right? Trading actually there's many strategies that work right over time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if you back test it 6 months, okay, go a year, go 2 years, go 3 years. If you could do 5 to 10 years, it's probably decent. It's probably very decent. It probably works, right? So then all you got to deal with is actually putting it into, you know what I mean, into action. But it's very hard to do that. And a lot of people say the hardest part about trading is the mindset. So what would you say on that? What's the hardest part for you?
I would say, yeah, definitely the mindset is the hardest part. And the part to where you need to understand that trading is a game of probabilities. I think that was my hardest struggle. I was, let's say, learning a strategy, practicing it, spending all that time to make sure it's profitable. And then when I started trading it, I was getting into a first losing streak. I was losing, let's say, 3 or 4 trades in a row. And that's when I was throwing it all to the bin, because I thought that, okay, the strategy doesn't work anymore. But it was literally part of the game, you know, part of the probabilities.
Yeah, of course.
Because the example I like to give people is, let's say you have a strategy with a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio that has a 50% win rate. That in the books is a very solid strategy, even with a smaller win rate, but let's say 50% win rate. Okay, now we have a coin. When we flip a coin, we know that we have a 50% chance for it to land on heads and a 50% chance for it to land on tails. But every now and then we can both agree that it will land on heads or on tails for 3 or 4 times in a row.
Maybe I'll do it 6 times in a row.
Maybe even more. Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe even more. And that's what people don't understand. It's the same with trading. With a 50% win rate, every now and then you can have 6, 5 winners in a row. I personally in April had an incredible period where I had 7 winners in a row with a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio.
Perfect. Nice.
But then in May, for example, I had 4 losers in a row.
Yeah, so you're going to always get that. You're always going to get that. And that's very important to note here, guys, that like what Dan is saying is no one's ever said this before. It's a probability game, and just be prepared. If you've got that 50%, it's a really good way of looking at it, actually. The flip a coin, but you've got a 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. If you don't move your stop loss and you start doing stuff like that, you know, if you take that 1 to 2, if you flip a coin, how many times in, you know, 2-3 years of flipping it once every day, you're going to get 6 or 7 losses in a row? You might have that, but you might, like Dana said, also get the 7 wins in a row as well. But as long as you stick to it, it doesn't matter, because you're going to be profitable. Okay, I think that's a great answer, by the way. So I just wanted to
and
the viewers.
Yeah, I'm glad. And to be honest, based on this, that's why most people never become profitable, because first of all, they don't understand this aspect. And second of all, a huge mistake I see people do is focusing on huge RRs, you know, like on 1 to 5s, 1 to 10s. And I'm not saying by any means you can be profitable with a 1 to 5 and 1 to 10. But look at it this way, with a 1 to 2 risk to reward strategy, if you, the average losing streak is 3 to 4 trades in a row. For a 1 to 5, the average losing streak can be 8 to 9 trades in a row. Are you prepared mentally to lose 9 trades in a row?
Exactly, mate. I used to have a strategy, and it works. It does work. But it was taking 1 to 5s, 1 to 6s, and one time I lost 13 trades in a row, and I literally wanted to throw myself off a bridge. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, this strategy works, but it's not for me. I can't. I had to change to something that was like a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 sort of thing, like kind of like a swing, not taking too many setups, because it was trading every day, scalping on the 5 minute, and it did work. But like sometimes I would hit a 1 to 6, 1 to 7, or probably a lot of 1 to 4s. But the thing is that like if you have a strategy like that with a 33% win ratio that's still profitable over time, just expect to lose 10 trades in a row at some point, and you've got to be able to deal with that. If you can deal with it, it's fine. But if you can't, then like you need to think of something that's with a higher win rate, which is definitely what I did, because I can't deal with that. Like, definitely not.
Exactly. And that's what most people face, you know.
Yeah. So
unfortunately, because in the beginnings, sorry, I wanted to mention this as well.
Go on.
In the beginnings, everyone is attracted to those high RRs, the high risk to reward ratios. And then when they start trading them, even though they're profitable, when they get into a losing streak like you've experienced, that's when they throw it all to the bin. So
no, exactly. You got to be prepared for that. again, guys, that's great advice from Dan there. I really like that. A lot of people don't understand that, and they can start thinking, sod trading. But you've got to have the strategy that suits your personality. This is quite important. So let's go for your journey to payout. What was your total payout in the end with us? How much did you make with us?
So the payout was $4,000, but after the split, it was 3,280, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
great. Good start anyway. So we'll go for your journey to payout now. So let's just break it down. So out of every method of making money online, why did you choose trading? And what do you think some of the toughest habits are?
For the toughest habits for a trader in general?
Yeah.
Like I said, the toughest habit is to stay consistent, and to stay disciplined during periods like I've just mentioned, where you go to a losing cycle and you lose 3 to 4 trades in a row. That's when the real test occurs, because everyone can go through a winning streak, right?
Everyone.
But 90% of traders do a mistake that costs them everything in a pretty bad period, when they lose 3, 4, or 5 trades in a row.
Of course, I got you. So, like I said, out of every money making method online, e-commerce stuff like that, why did you choose trading exactly? Why?
That's a very good question, because before trading, when I was in high school, I tried all sorts of different things. I tried social media, I tried Instagram flipping accounts, growing accounts. I was into cars. I'm a huge car fan.
Yeah.
And I was trying to grow car pages and then flipping them, but it was so hard. It was really hard, especially without a upfront budget to promote the page.
Yeah.
I've also tried drop shipping, but again, due to the fact that it was a high barrier to entry, I wasn't able to follow through.
I got you.
And the reason I chose trading and I stick with it is because it was accessible for me. Like I didn't need huge amounts to be able to start.
Don't need TradingView, MetaTrader, free platforms, and then a demo account. You can just practice.
Exactly.
Like it's
exactly.
And then you can spend 100 euros on a prop firm challenge, 200 euros, and it's when you're ready. You know what I mean? So it is very accessible. Actually, I did like a social media reel on that, why trading is becoming more accessible, because there's free platforms you can use to practice. So what do you say? Like how do you maintain focus on days when nothing's really going your way? Like you said, you had that time in May last.
Yeah.
Was it this May or May last year?
No, this year.
Okay. How do you maintain focus? Like, did you ever fall into a trap of like over trading?
No, not anymore now. Of course, in the past I used to.
Yeah.
But right now, like I said, I think the good daily habits and the fixed schedule helps a lot. Like every single day, I know what I need to do. I have good habits. I go to the gym every single day.
Nice.
I eat well. I eat at the same exact times, and that's how I'm able to stay disciplined with my trading as well, by following these good habits. And then when I see that, okay, there's no high probability opportunities, there are no A+ setups, I just stay on the sidelines.
Cool. So you just like go to the gym and reset by going to the gym, and just like focusing on just doing something else. Yeah, nice. Do you still play tennis or?
Yes, casually. I still do play tennis.
Just
that helps as well.
Yeah, nice man, nice. What's your game? Serve and volley or ground stroke?
Ground stroke, yeah.
Ground stroke, yeah, nice.
Because here in Romania we play on clay, not on grass.
Okay, yes.
As in the UK or hard courts.
Yeah.
It's a lot slower.
Yeah, well, actually, I used to play when I was younger, but I used to do the Robinsons tournaments, but I wasn't that good. I was okay, but we had
nice.
We competed, but we weren't ranking or anything like that, But it was good fun. It's good fun. But I was very small, bro, when I was 14, very small. And I remember being in a tournament, and I was looking at these guys,
looking up at everyone,
and they were 6'3", looked like with beards. I was like, Mum, I don't think that guy's 14. She's like, he is. He's just started growing before you. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, my time will
I'll get there.
my time
I'll
will
get
go,
there.
You know what I mean? Do you think traders should stick to one strategy or keep experimenting? Now, I know I got a good answer for this, but what do you think?
Yeah, to be honest, I think that's what I preach in my own mentoring program as well, because I personally, for example, I trade 2 strategies. One for day trading and one is for swing. The one for day trading requires 2 to 3 hours a day, but the one for swing trading requires only 15 minutes a day.
Yeah.
However, the reason I trade both is because this is what I do full time.
Right.
For 90% of people, I would only recommend one of the two strategies.
Okay.
And I myself, in the future, I've mentioned this multiple times in my community, in the future, when let's say I'll have kids or I have more responsibilities, I will for sure consider transitioning fully to swing trading.
Yeah.
But right now, due to the fact that I have time and I don't have many responsibilities, I have time to spend 2 to 3 hours a day to day trade as
Yeah.
well.
Okay, cool. Nice. So what pairs do you trade?
When it comes to day trading, I trade US 30, NASDAQ, gold,
Oof.
GBP USD, Euro USD, GJ, and USD CHF.
Oh, so you,
7 pairs.
you do a lot of different pairs then.
Yeah,
Nice.
7 day
Okay.
trading pairs.
I just mess around with DAX, to be honest, and GJ. That's my two go-tos. But yeah, just because they're always trending up, usually, because of the interest rates. But
Yeah.
that's my go-tos really. UJ's okay as well, but it's just like there's not that many opportunities for it, in my opinion, for my strategy anyway. What are your thoughts on ICT then? Who did you learn from? And wait, like, was it the YouTube tutorials? Because he does a lot of those, the free ones, but there's a lot of ICT gurus who've like they've taken it, but they've taken it the wrong way, if that makes sense. They've like they've taken their own sort of thing on it.
Yeah. So I never was in a ICT mentorship. Even on YouTube, I haven't watched ICT content. The way I was able to develop my own systems is by a lot of backtesting and by focusing on some main concepts that I've learned either from YouTube or from the courses I bought in the beginnings. This is definitely something that I do not recommend because it took me a lot of time, a lot of stress as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of money too to become profitable.
Yeah, you
going
got to
this
invest
route
a little bit. Yeah.
Whereas if I started differently by searching for someone and going for his program, for his mentoring, I would become profitable a lot easier with a lot less time spent in front of the charts and with a lot less stress, because this is again something I've mentioned from experience, because I have people in my program. Yes, most people that join have experience as well, but there's some people that join with zero experience. And because they were disciplined and they listened to everything we discussed and we established together, in the first 2 to 3 months, they were able to make their first consistent profits.
Right.
Without having to blow all of their savings, without having to stress, without having to spend 10 hours a day. They are people that have jobs, that have families, they have responsibilities, so they don't have time for that.
Brilliant.
And
it's probably because they've got like a blank slate, and they haven't got no bad habits that they picked up from, other idiots that are,
true. Sometimes I have a harder time with people that already have experience, because like I said, we first have to get rid of the bad habits that they've already built and then start building on what we want.
I got you.
So yeah, I totally agree with that.
All right. So I just got like a little timer thing. I've got 7 minutes and 50 left before it runs out. So we're going to do like the last bit now. So what would you say the 3 things you would say to your younger self now? And what's a simple habit, some simple small change that a beginner trader can just change to immediately improve the results?
So to answer your first question, 3 things that I would tell my younger self that got into trading. First of all, be patient. That's definitely the first thing that I would say. Second of all, seek knowledge first. That would be the second thing, instead of being focused on flipping accounts and buying a car overnight. And the third thing I would say is focus on yourself. Focus on yourself, because in the beginning, again, a mistake I did was looking too much on social media, and I was getting frustrated seeing other people win. Driving nice cars, going on nice vacays, and because of that I felt like shit, quite frankly. And I tend to risk more on my accounts and blow them even faster, so focus on yourself. That would be my third advice.
Brilliant. Love that, Dan. Love that. That's great. So what do you think is one little habit?
One little habit is journaling, and not in a way of writing everything down that you do, in a way of, by the end of the week, ask yourself, okay, where am I this week compared to where I was last week? Mentally, when it comes to knowledge, have I done any progress? Was I able to stick to my plan? Revisit the trades that you took and see if they all are according to your plan. I think this one habit here can make a huge difference.
Brilliant. I love that answer. Absolutely brilliant. Actually, these have all been great answers. And guys, if you've been listening to this is real talk here, real talk. All right. So I'm gonna vouch for Dan here. He knows what he's talking about. So
Thank you.
thank you very much for coming on, Dan. It's been a pleasure having you on, and we're happy to facilitate your needs and your payouts with us at TraderScale, and we're glad you're having a good time with us. Thanks for coming on and having a chat, because we love having traders that are doing really well, especially a name and a presence like yourself, you know. So guys, if you're working on becoming more disciplined, more consistent, this is the one for you. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, drop a comment if you found something in this video that like resonate with you. And yeah, once again, Dan, thanks for coming on TraderScale Success Stories, and
thank you for having me.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get you back on at some point as well. So we're gonna have another chat.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? Maybe with the next payout.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm sure that's not far away. Okay, so right, ciao for now, bud. Thanks very much.